Can someone please tell me why Europe gatekeeps ibuprofen?
All right, my last video, Europeans roasted me in the comments.
I've asked this question before, but I'll ask it again. When you go grocery shopping, what do you typically go grocery shopping for? And how often do you go grocery shopping? I mean, there's very many things that I can think of off the top of my head that I go grocery shopping for all the time. Food, toiletries, medication, pain relief medication. Now, obviously the grocery shopping experience is very different depending on where you travel worldwide. In the United States, it's safe to say that all of our grocery stores are a Swiss Army knife of sorts, right? You can get literally anything from these grocery stores. Car parts, ammunition, medication, food, alcohol, whatever. You have it all in grocery stores throughout the United States. That is not the case throughout Europe, right? If you're out and about, you'll get food in grocery stores and you might get some allergy medications and the other little things. There are more specialized stores for some of the things that you need. And that's where we enter this video. This American living in Europe had a very huge issue with Europe allegedly gatekeeping ibuprofen, a pain medication. She needed it for whatever reason and could not find it in the grocery store and was like, wow, you guys must not have pain medication at all, because why is it not in the grocery store? And I had to learn that the hard way myself. When I traveled to Germany and whatnot, I went to a plethora of different grocery stores and I was like, oh my gosh, one thing I'm noticing that's not here is your medicine section. Also important to note that different countries have different accessibilities. So some countries actually do have medicine inside their grocery stores and convenience stores, while others don't. If you guys are new here, welcome. If you guys are returning viewers, welcome back. We are trying to hit 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. So please support the channel by liking the video and subscribing if you haven't already. Not only did this American complain about not being able to find pain medication in the grocery store, but the internet came together to collectively pack her up in the comments down below. And she made a follow-up video afterward about the whole ordeal.
Can someone please tell me why Europe gatekeeps ibuprofen? Ever since I turned 30, my body just decides to fall apart doing the most normal shit. Little example, I went to the thrift store the other day and I was trying on a shirt, a basic shirt, nothing interesting about it, and I tweaked my neck. I go to the convenience store for ibuprofen, as one does. I am dreading talking to anyone that works there because I just moved to Spain and I was like, shit, my Spanish is not that good. What even is the word for medication? What is the word for ibuprofen? What's the word for aisle? I finally have the balls to approach this woman that works there and I go up with Google Translate in hand and I ask, where is the ibuprofen?
That's something else I didn't think about. Convenience stores as well. I mean, yeah, convenience stores all over the United States do sell pain medication as well. Apparently that's not the case in a lot of European countries. For the people that are watching this video, outside of pharmacies, where else can you get pain medication? And please don't say the black market. Also, she's so real about being 30 and the body breaking down and stuff, because I turned 30 and it felt like the world was collapsing on me. My back has been having issues a lot more than when I was in my 20s for sure. I feel like I could sneeze and blow my back out.
This woman looks at me like I have 3 heads. So I start acting out pain, like, back hurt, ibuprofen. She still doesn't know what I'm talking about. I grab the nearest man. I ask him, can you ask her where the ibuprofen is? He's like, they don't sell ibuprofen here. I was like, what do you mean? Told me I needed to go to the pharmacy, at which time I'm like, no, ibuprofen, like the just regular schmegular ibuprofen. I don't need a pharmacist. I don't need a doctor. Turns out not only do they sell ibuprofen and cold medication and everything like that at the pharmacy and not at the grocery store, you have to actually consult someone, talk to a pharmacist to convince them of your symptoms or tell them of your symptoms. They evaluate you and then they decide what you get. I really need to work on my Spanish. I was struggling so hard. No more charades for me. We've got to get it together.
You know what I'm going to say, right? You at least know part of what I'm going to say, right? She didn't do her research before she traveled to Spain, because that is like a key thing. Not just Spain, but literally like do your research before traveling anywhere. Specifically when it comes to stuff like this, because that is huge. I'm telling you, that was something that blew my mind. I thought pharmacies were exclusively for prescriptions, right? Like you get like super powerful prescription drugs and you can only get those from pharmacies. But like everything else, no matter what the medicine was, you could always get over the counter. Cough syrup, pain relief medication, headache stuff, whatever. Like all the other medications under the sun, as long as they weren't super strong, were definitely available on shelves. And I thought that that applied everywhere. And that was not the case. It's a medicine. Medicines are sold in the pharmacy. Yes. I learned that the hard way. Like I said, I did not know that until I was like, man, similar situation, except I had a headache. And I'm like, hey, let's go stop by the grocery store, the convenience store, and get some ibuprofen. And they're like, you mean the pharmacy, big dog? Like, what are you talking about? This was such a hard watch. And I can only imagine witnessing that in person because, again, I'm not better than anybody. I literally did this very similar thing myself. And I'm like, oh my gosh. That's what I find so interesting about seeing other Americans' experiences in other countries around the world. It's kind of refreshing to know that I wasn't the only person that went through this experience. I definitely got clowned in person too, because a lot of my German homies are like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? Grocery stores don't sell medication. And that's the US defaultism part I was talking about. Of course, in the United States, every single grocery store, every single convenience store ever does sell medication. But I think as Americans, when we travel, we grew up our entire lives knowing that to be the case where we're from. So we try to apply that to other countries, and that doesn't work. Why the hell would the medicine be elsewhere than the pharmacy? And see, when you ask that question, it has me wondering, why is medication available in the grocery stores in the United States? Maybe it has something to do with consumerism, capitalism, blah, 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 all the buzzwords, throw them on the screen. That's a good question. Why are they available in grocery stores? I mean, and not more prevalent in pharmacies and stuff, because there's a reason why we keep asking. And the very well-trodden path of, do you have medication in this grocery store? A, ibuprofen is a medicine. B, Spain is in Europe. Europe isn't Spain. C, in parts of Europe, it's sold in convenience stores. That's why we need to emphasize that Europe is a continent, not a country, because so many different countries in Europe operate completely different. In one end of Europe, you could have places, for instance, that don't have AC. That doesn't apply to all of Europe. That applies to that part of Europe, that country in Europe. Now, a different country in Europe might have air conditioning units in all of the houses over there. And this example that we're talking about in regards to medication, this person highlighted this very issue very eloquently. In Spain, of course, yeah, you're not going to find medication inside grocery stores or convenience stores, because why would you? They belong in pharmacies. But in other countries in Europe, you will find medication, like pain medication and things of the sort, in convenience stores. Sweeping Europe comment again. I can buy ibuprofen in most shops in Scotland, and last I checked, we are part of the European continent. And I think this highlights the, hey, be careful comparing all of Europe to the United States, because there are definitely some strong nuances between each of the countries within Europe. At the end of the day, Europe's a continent, not a country. And there's some things that you're going to find that are very polarizing in one country that are different than another. And I've asked this question before, but it must be so interesting living in Europe in general, because leaving your country to go to the neighboring country next door that is fundamentally very different, that's got to be very shocking, but in like an ice bath way of shocking. Like, whoa, like you're stumbling into culture shocks all the time until you, I guess, adapt to all of these different countries and stuff. And you have a different worldview on how things actually function. I think in the United States, since we're in this gigantic echo chamber, we think that going to a different state is enough for it to be considered very different and polarizing and shocking in the same way that it is traveling from one country in Europe to a different country. Well, not in Poland. We have it in grocery stores. Also, when we're in the pharmacy, we just say what medicine we need. We don't have to explain our symptoms to the pharmacist unless we don't know what to buy. Oh yeah, it's real clear by this video. It just depends on what country you travel to. Each country has different modes of operation as far as how to secure your medication, specifically when it comes to pain medication and many others and whatnot. You would think that most of it is in pharmacies. It just depends. As we can see in this comment section, very contentious, because some countries throughout Europe have the medication inside of the grocery stores and convenience stores, and some countries throughout Europe have the medication exclusively in pharmacies. Gatekeeps? Stops you from buying harmful amounts, you mean? There's also that. I think we do a lot of this bulk purchasing in the United States where we like to go and buy a metric fuck ton of damn near any and everything. And in regards to medication, I don't think we need to be doing all that. Buy what we need, get out of there, and move on. You can get it at any drugstore and supermarket over the counter in the Netherlands. So no, this isn't a European thing. She's getting cooked in them comments, but I have myself as well, because I've made statements like that, and even even very recently. And of course, you know, consequences of the actions is you get packed up. You get an honorary packing in the comment section. And hey, I don't make the rules. That's how it is. But this next comment was pretty interesting because the creator did respond, and it did highlight something I've been saying for a while. Europe is not a single country. You can't generalize, which is very true. But the creator responded by saying this: correct. I've had this experience with multiple European countries, and I didn't have the experience in the other 4 continents I've been to. So I lumped Europe into one entity. Not meant to be offensive. Bingo. And I think that is the source of the problem here. So if we have an experience that is very similar throughout a lot of different countries throughout Europe, then we're like, this must be a Europe thing and not just a this country thing. This is not just a Spain thing, a Finland thing, a Germany thing, a Romania thing, an Estonia thing. This is a Europe thing. All the countries must do this. But the problem is we did not visit all the countries, so we can't make a statement like that. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we'll be met with comments like this, which makes a lot of sense. And again, I've done this myself. I'm not innocent. I'm not better than anybody. I've done this. I've definitely done this. So I completely understand where the frustration comes from, which is why I'm glad that people post videos all the time of their experiences in situations like this, because it lets me know that I'm not alone. Many other people that are having this experience are also not alone, and we can move forward knowing that it gets better. Yeah, you just learn a little bit. You have to learn, you have to adapt, and obviously it encourages me to do more research into the future. I do plan on traveling to Spain sometime, possibly this year, and I'm wondering if the weather year-round in Spain is quite nice. I'm angry because I don't know the language where I live. Another thing, she's like, well, everything's in Spanish and da-da-da-da-da, and you know, I can't speak fluent Spanish, which, you know, unfortunate, but you could use Google Translate to kind of carry you through some of those situations, which she did. She definitely did, but you'll be better off, obviously, if you learn the language, which is going to take a lot of time. And I know that would be very stressful, but part of the consequence of not learning the language is running into situations like this. But like I said, she made a follow-up video. This is the follow-up video.
All right, my last video about the pharmacy, Europeans roasted me in the comments about the fact that I didn't understand how pharmacies work here. We're gonna go to the pharmacy and see if I can get some pain medication. Buenas. Hola. ¿Me puedes ayudar? Tengo dolor de cabeza. They were right. It's very easy to get what you need. I went in, I said, ¿Me puedes ayudar? Can you help me? And they said yes, obviously, because that's their job. And I said, yo tengo dolor de cabeza. I have a headache. They pointed me to what I needed and didn't ask any more questions. It was a fairly easy process. But yes, medication is found only in the pharmacy. And they don't evaluate you. They just give you what you need. So the Europeans were right. Didn't mean to piss them off.
So this is one of those situations where we actually see the aftermath of the criticism and whatnot. She took the criticism to heart. Grocery stores don't sell medication. She applied it in the field and she got the desired result, which is actually really cool. Now, it was funny. She got clowned. She learned. She moved on. And I love that because I have gone through something very similar. Plenty of situations that were very similar. I've done things. I've come to the internet with my little gripes and complaints. Y'all packed my ass up, and then I went right back out there, tried what the recommended suggestions were. It worked way better for me, and I'm like, wow, that was cool. That was a learning experience, a little rough at first, but with some guidance, it was totally fine. So yes, this was actually pretty cool. Her comment section this time was interesting. Obviously, you still had the don't lump all the European countries into one big ass country because Europe is a continent, not a country, which is very understandable. But like I explained, and I think like she explained in her comment, it's hard for us Americans to think like that when there are so many polarizing similarities between a lot of the European countries that just straight up don't exist in the United States that seem like they're normal throughout all of Europe. Even though that's not the case, that's kind of like, you know, a main distinction. It's like if you were to travel to the United States, for instance, and you saw people wearing cowboy hats in 4 different states, you're going to probably think that all Americans wear cowboy hats, or we have a secret cowboy hat hidden somewhere in our humble abode, which might not be true. We love someone that is able to admit they were wrong. We get things wrong sometimes. And this is exactly what I want to see from other traveling Americans as well. I do it. A lot of people are starting to do this as well. We mess up. The biggest thing is being willing to learn from your mistake and correct whatever the action was and move forward. It might take you a few bumps on the head and you tripping and falling a few times to get it right, but the willingness to improve is what's important. I think that's ultimately what's important. And I think in this situation, that's where it has the ultimate upside. She went from getting roasted and grilled on the internet to applying it in the field, recording it, and people were like, yeah, wow, like that was great. That's fine, Queen. You just listened and learned. That's what matters. Absolutely. And did you notice one interesting thing that happened in this whole interaction?
Hola, ¿me puedes ayudar? Tengo dolor de cabeza.
She spoke Spanish. She spoke Spanish. The one thing she said she wasn't fluent in and da-da-da.
I was like, shit, my Spanish is not that good. What even is the word for medication?
She asked for what she wanted
¿Me puedes ayudar?
in Spanish. I'm so proud of her. I did the same thing in Germany. I have to relate it because I've been in a similar situation. I went to a restaurant setting and I did not know how to order food in German. And my friends are like, hey, maybe next time you'll get more of what you want if you ask for what you're looking for in German. The reason why I'm saying this is because I was trying to ask for water and I think I was trying to ask for still water, but I didn't know how it was called auf Deutsch. So I wound up asking for water, but in English, and they gave me sparkling water, of course. And I was like, what the hell is this? Now I love sparkling water now, but at the time I was not a fan. So my friend's like, hey, this is how you ask for the water in the future. This is how you ask for anything in a restaurant setting, to be honest. And if you want sparkling water, this is what you ask for. If you want still water, this is what you ask for. And best believe I listened. I applied it to my next situation and I got my desired result. Would you believe that? That's awesome. And again, hopefully more Americans see these videos so they can learn, right? From my mistakes, from everybody else's mistakes as well, because that's normal. When you travel, you're not going to get it all right. You can do all the research in the world. You can watch all the videos in the world and you still won't get it right. That's what life is all about. Fucking up, right? Fucking up and making it right.